Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Revenge of the Sith commentary, where the conflict over Coruscant is starting to heat up, as all batteries fire! Fire! Oh god, I feel fucking sad that I can quote this movie verbatim. But yeah, this is actually a very relevant part of this upcoming level, because we're gonna be doing a lot more than just, running away from battle droids and trying to avoid General Grievous's forces. No, because, again, if there's one thing I can say about this level, a little bit more positively than the others to be honest, is that we got a lot more to do, and aiding the Republic is part of that mission, so it's all good in the hood.
Let's find another way around. The Chancellor and I will meet you on the other side.
So yeah, first of all, we're separated from Obi-Wan and Palpatine, and of course, well, we just gotta give it the runaround, reconvene with them, and beat up any battle droids along the way. And considering the amount of them, Jesus Christ, the Trade Federation's budget must be really, stretched thin. Although, then again, most of these robots were pretty much decommissioned by the time of the Empire anyway, and I think it was actually mentioned at the end of the movie that they gave like a shutdown code for all these battle droids, which is why you don't see any in like the original trilogy. I don't know, a nice way of tying everything together mythology-wise, and why some elements that were there in the past aren't there anymore. But yeah, as you can see right here, the ship is also taking a bit of a beating, and that does actually come to play with the latter half of this level, which is actually quite fun, and makes the level feel very dynamic compared to previous ones. Which again is definitely a point I can put in episode 3, the game's favour, is that, again, the level design is very active, and I don't know, it just makes it feel very alive. Like, I mean, you're not just going from room to room beating up random goons for the sake of itself, because, you know, the level does actively change as you progress, and I don't know, a small touch, but it's so nice. But again, we're pretty much just slashing power lines, taking down ray shields, and well, it's all about ray shields in this one. And of course, this is pretty much where you use your lightsaber deflection. This does cost force powers, but again, it does guarantee you a greater degree of protection. I mean, you can press the L1 button to defend yourself against regular blaster bolts, but again, when you have gun turrets like that, which have rapid fire abilities, yeah, that's a bit more difficult to do. And again, of course, when you also have these super battle droids firing upon you, it's a bit of a tall order. But again, no harm, no foul. Again, you will come across, you know, grapple droids and other such fare that you've pretty much encountered up to this point, but again, at this rate, you should be pretty well prepared, especially if you've been upgrading your characters to best protect yourself against the threats that are there to come. And of course, contextual quick, we gotta open the thing with the lightsaber and the cutting things open and the lady of the galaxy, Warhaven.
That'll help.
I never thought I'd be so happy to see a ray shield. I'm glad you're safe, R2. Let's go see how much trouble Obi-Wan has got himself into now.
Okay, re-recording this yet again because my editor, charming fucking piece of filth that it is, decided to fuck up on me. So, yeah. Bit of a blessing in disguise, because I thought it was gonna go better, but apparently it didn't, because my tongue is twisted. Why was I making this musical? It wasn't really, but, yeah. What can I salvage on the previous one? Oh yeah, again, as you can see here, like with, you know, electricity, debris all around, and explosive barrels, again, the environment is still pretty dynamic, very active, and again, you have multiple ways of getting environmental kills as well. So, like, I mean, again, you can toss people off ledges, you can throw them into the ray shield, or you can just toss them into electric, things, and again, like, it makes the gameplay feel really dynamic and just really fun. So, again, Revenge of the Sith does nail, like, the arcadey fun of, you know, the way the games are supposed to go, but again, to kind of divulge into a bit of a tangent that I was at least somewhat hinting to before, like with the death of Count Dooku, you know, I mean, again, they probably just had an earlier version of the film in mind, so they probably didn't get to see what the final cut was until, well, the movie itself came out, I'm imagining, but yeah, like, I mean, Revenge of the Sith as a game does kind of lose out on a bit more of the movie's context, because, like, I mean, say what you will about Revenge of the Sith from a narrative standpoint, but that movie's emotional beats, I think, hit about as well as they should have, but again, the game doesn't really get that, which again, is part of the fact that I need to abridge like a lot of the plot points that go on for the sake of, you know, getting the players to gameplay, and the fact that there isn't really any sort of particular gameplay that I think, at the very least, people from 2005 would have been willing to invest in, because Revenge of the Sith is very story-heavy, and how exactly do you make a gameplay sequence out of Anakin finding out that Padme is pregnant with Luke and Leia, or, you know, the Jedi Council scenes where, you know, they're talking about the distrust of Palpatine after he's been in the Chancellorship in Coruscant for, you know, much longer than he really should have been. Again, there's not really much of a way you could really make a compelling game out of that. I mean, obviously you could probably do stuff with it nowadays, albeit with a bit of a rewrite, but I don't know, I guess it's a bit of a catch-22, like, I guess maybe the game's mission statement wasn't to necessarily make, like, an immersive cinematic game based on Revenge of the Sith, but more so to make a game that just, you know, gets down the general story beats. It's an arcadey fun time for the weekend and something you pretty much get back, but at the same time, like, I mean, in regards to trying to abridge its story, it has a bit of that Path of Neo effect in the sense that the beats don't really hit as well as they could or should, and there's not really any deviations like the Path of Neo. At least not so much to the extent where you get some really interesting sequences that you otherwise wouldn't have gotten, you know, in the movie itself, so holy shit, Palpatine just took that like a champ. I mean, if that wasn't a hint that he was a Sith Lord, then I wonder what the fuck was. I mean, seriously, man, he just tanked those fucking blaster bolts like a champ, dude.
R2, we need to get that ray shield deactivated.
Calling all open Jedi channels. This is Jedi Cruiser 622 requesting immediate assistance. We're taking heavy fire. Situation critical. We're going down.
Anakin, quickly, get into that turret. We've got to save that cruiser.
So yeah, this is where the fun begins, and another deviation, which again I think the game honest to God should have done a bit more of, because again it adds some really nice dynamics to the levels and gets you to do a little something different. I mean, obviously it's not the most taxing however, but again you're pretty much taking out a Separatist ship and, well, basically trying to help the Republic survive, and again, like, I mean, it's not too big a deviation from the movie, but again it does get you to do something a little bit different, and again you're not doing much different aside from, you know, point the thing and shoot. But again, it's fun for what it is, you can find a few secrets hidden around there and, get a bit of change in gameplay, and you get this really nicely cinematic view of, you know, the Coruscant skyline. You get to see bits of space, a lot of battles going on. Again, I mean, graphically and in terms of, like, you know, model quality and, you know, polycount, obviously, it's nothing compared to games of today, but I don't know, I still think Revenge of the Sith is a pretty visually appealing game. Like, I mean, it has a bit of jank, obviously, but it's nice, man. I love it.
Excellent shooting, Anakin. Nice shooting.
You expected less? Let's get moving. We need to meet up with R2.
By the way, a bit of a fun fact during that sequence, actually. During the cutscene, if you continue to press the attack button or the fire button on that, that little cannon, yeah, that actually continues on during the cutscene, so again, you can continue to fire and interact during, in-game cutscenes. I'm pretty sure that's a glitch, though, but, and again, I don't know if it's present throughout all copies, but it's at least present through mine, which is, quite amusing. And again, if you were just watching the movie as normal, after, like, you know, they do the whole elevator sequence where Obi-Wan wakes up, yeah, this is pretty much where they end up, and then they get taken off to the bridge of General Grievous, along with his comrades Admiral Bone-to-Pick. I forgot what the other ones were. What's that over there? Is that the script? And of course, the another fine addition to my collection line. One of my favourites out of it. In all the meme-y goodness that the prequels have experienced, because this is the internet, not the 2000s internet, where most that you would have seen about Revenge of the Sith would have been like Newgrounds cartoons with like characters insulting each other, like calling Grievous CGI trash or something, because that was what the internet was like back then. Dear God, am I ancient? Anyway, these are the Magna Guards, General Grievous' personal guards, and I believe what I think were one of his original designs before they, like, turned them into droids good and proper. Again, they're pretty much your means of having lightsaber fights without fighting Jedi or Sith. But yeah, the point is, they'll pretty much block your attacks. They have some pretty dangerous attacks of their own. They have this little, like, this like little reversal mode, well again they'll pretty much just like swap around and, you know, try and sling around the back. And they can be quite dangerous as well, so yeah, they're pretty much your medium to moderate enemies.
That's a nice trick.
And that's why they're called Magna Guards, because they can walk on the ceiling. There is actually a bonus mission that I'm either going to be I either plan to show next part or maybe towards the end of the commentary, because you do actually get a segment where you get to play as the Magna Guards. And what that will entail, well, you'll see soon enough.
Where's Grievous?
But I mean, anyway, there is a little bit more to this level than just, you know, fighting enemies. Well, okay, slightly more. That might be a bit of an exaggeration, because you're still fighting enemies. I mean, at this point in the movie, it wasn't really too long before they just, like, took out the Magna Guards, and then Grievous pretty much makes his escape, because, what is this? Oh no, the gravity servos, they are malfunctioning? And now the spaceship is pretty much turning around, so, and once again, you get a very nice look at the background, which is all nicely detailed with a lot of the planet down below, and of course, well, the laser battle going on. If there's one thing I can't really say about PS2 games of, like, it's, the late era of the 6th generation, is that, again, they might not have been the most graphically impressive, but goddamn, they really wanted to make you feel a sense of scale that a lot of games never really tended to give you up to this point. I don't know, it's really beautiful to bear witness to, and again, it's just like trying to squeeze every bit of juice out of the technology before, you know, the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 came out. And again, also a few graphical effects, like again, when you land on the glass, so it actually does start to crack a little bit. I don't know, it's just a really nice effect, and makes the world feel very lively and natural. Oh, by the way, another interesting voice actor fact, and again, I can't really confirm this, but I believe the Magna Guards themselves, not in the movie, but in the game, were voiced by Jarian Monroe, who was I believe was the original voice actor for Dr. Kaufman in Silent Hill 1. Again, weird casting choice, but, I mean, hey, at least he got some more work, which is always appropriate. Oh, and a beautiful looking shot of the blockade. Or the Trade Federation ship. I never really knew what it was called. Was it only the one in the Phantom Menace that was called the Blockade or something? Whatever, the thing from Episode 1 got blown up, and not by Anakin going, yeehaw, now this is pod racing. Yeah, unfortunately, you're gonna be getting a battle with General Grievous, much as it would have been appropriate to, but he's pretty much just gonna walk around shit-talking you on the top of the bridge, because again, he has those little claw things, and, well, Grievous, compared to his 2003 Clone Wars counterpart, is, well, a coward. It's kind of weird that George Lucas wanted him to be equal parts like a foreshadowing of what Anakin would eventually become, but at the same time also this Saturday morning cartoon villain sort of, curse you, Spider-Man, I shall escape in my Dick Dastardly hover car thing. I don't know. Again, like, I mean, when it comes to the fanbase, there is, like, a lot of division between what people actually think about General Grievous, and compared to what his backstory was, because, I mean, the reason why he's in that suit thing to begin with is because he was, like, a warrior who hated the Jedi for not helping out his people, and, again, then when he got completely blown to shit, I think it was either Dooku or Sidious who pretty much gave him his cybernetics, and basically it fueled his hatred of Jedi, which is why he kills them, takes their lightsabers, and adds them as fine additions to his collection. And none of this information really made it to any of, like, the cartoons or video games, so, yeah, a bit of a shame. I think it would have been pretty interesting if maybe we had, like, a General Grievous prequel game that, you know, could have been set before Revenge of the Sith. Which, I mean, it's something they could quite easily do now and, even beforehand, so I really don't know what to say in that aspect.
This ship's taking a beating.
Gyroscope online, orientation normalizing, stand by.
Out of all the live-action cutscenes I feel they should have extended, this one should have been it, because, again, they pretty much cover Grievous' escape, Anakin and Obi-Wan getting into the ship's seat, and, well, it doesn't really show them returning to Coruscant, or that little scene, you know, where they have to reel the ship in for a nice soft landing to survive and all that. And that's a little bit disappointing, which, again, kind of robs the emotional highs and makes the cutscenes feel very disconnected in a Matrix Path of Neo way, but again, I've pretty much said everything about that beforehand, so on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and strap yourselves on, because we're coming in dick first for a landing.
Say the ability to pilot this thing is irrelevant. Strap yourselves in.
There's no cross.